And we are back with another interview. This time we're interviewing the second place Weiss Schwarz World Championship finish by our good friend. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, my name's Dario Perry, or Medalliah as I'm known on most online places at the moment. I've been playing Weiss for I think 13 years now, around when Madda came out, or a new player as I'm apparently known online now as. Came second this year, which is my best finish at Worlds. Previous 2 years I was here, it was 3-3. So,
well, congratulations on an excellent finish. What set did you decide to play during the event?
I played Bang Dream, bar level 1 Oblivionist with the 1-0 choice into the Dolores level 3 door.
And was that the deck that you locked in relatively early in the preparation cycle for Worlds?
The moment I saw the ban list, it was the finisher that I thought it was the correct one to play based on the ban list choice, because losing Buns made the other finisher look a little bit less appealing to me, because you're potentially hitting a good compression deck, and Dolores is better into compression than Tamori in my opinion.
And would you say that you were satisfied with the choice that you made, or were there other decks in contention that you were thinking about bringing?
I did consider Oshinoko, as I think probably the entire room did, but I wasn't really able to get hold of the cards and practice enough of it in time, and I've been playing Bang Dream, the deck, since Austria BCS where I qualified. I'm so comfortable with how it played. I didn't use Buns during my Austria BCS qualification anyway, so I'm used to not stock swapping. I was pretty happy with the choice. I think maybe some of the cards different in the deck, but other than that, I was pretty happy with the deck it ran.
During your run, when you're leading up to the cut rounds, during the Swiss, how did you feel about your opponents, and did you have, what kind of feelings, emotions were you having during those rounds as you were winning more and more?
Well, my first 3 games was 3 wins against Oshinoko, so it was a very, very strong start to the tournament, playing against arguably the best deck in the room and winning 3, including 1 against the eventual winner of the tournament. So I was pretty comfortable. Rounds 4 and 5, I hit against the other Steve L's, very off-the-wall Fujimi deck, which is good into 1k1 builds. And then I had a bad game against a Tamori Bang Dream where they killed me from 2-1, milling 4 climaxes off Tamori. So after that, I've got the 2 games out of the way. I'm like, okay, I just need to win my last 2 and I'm fine. And that's, last one is 1 game after that. But my strength of schedule going into round 7 was the highest in the room. So I got paired against the person who was second highest in the room. So I was pretty comfortable as long as I win that game, and it was another Bang Dream mirror, so it's a game I know very well.
Were you surprised by some of the other choices that you saw on the top tables? There was Saikano that did very well, Ruby that did very well, Fujimi, as you mentioned, did very well. Were those surprising to you as they were to some of us?
Well, in the UK, we have a very, very high Ruby player base. We have a lot of people that play it, and we very highly rate Ruby in the UK, so that wasn't a surprise to me. Saikano was a surprise. The guy, I think, had the tournament of his life, and he was. I led some cards before the tournament started, so he was. It was interesting. The Fujimi build was very out of left field. I know Fujimi standby, but not the way that Steve had built it. So it was a very unique way of building it, and it is a good deck. It's just because the overall count either was lower or wasn't doing as well as expected, it probably made the standby decks come out better, so both Ruby and Fujimi stood out a lot more in that regard. The biggest surprise, I think, was my top 8 opponent, who was on Bang Dream, but he wasn't playing the 1-0 changer as his choice, he was playing Buns as his choice option. So I was like, oh, okay, you're not going to get your level 1 combos often, but now I've got to worry about stock swap. That one surprised me a little bit, but then, ironically, he didn't get his level 1 combo too often, and that was the biggest decider in the game.
Yeah, I think as a person who played quite a bit of Bang Dream during the season, and I played it during the summer, and ironically I played the same climax combination that you played before people started latching onto other builds. and I was surprised to see that the choice was opted into for stock swap, because it did feel like, outside of mirrors, that most of the other decks in the room were not very compressive, and they wouldn't really seek those kind of game states anyway.
Yeah, I think everyone went in with an expectation of the most scary stock swap is gone, so everyone's going to compress. Though we don't actually have compression deck. I mean, the Bang Dream is the compression deck, so we don't really have. Oshinoko, if the game goes its way, is going to compress, but it doesn't need the game to go its way to win the game. So, yeah, it was an interesting choice. The guy was from Singapore, and I think they just have a lot more Bang Dream players there. So he was, and Bang Dream was 20% of the room. So it's not like teching against 1/5 of the room is a bad thing, is it? So it was a surprise. It was. I don't know if anyone else did it. I think it was just this one player. Because I think the other ones, well, I would say that we had 2 Dolores and 1 Tamori in the top 8, if I remember right. Yeah.
So, looking forward to the summer, are you going to continue to play Bang Dream, or are there some other sets that are going to be dropping that you're interested in?
Well, I think the only set coming up in English that I'm interested in is the next Bang Dream set. So, I've got Fujimi. I bought Fujimi set 2. I had Fujimi set 1 already, so I'll probably play around with that in Saikano, because I think Saikano's an interesting one if the room is correct. But obviously you got I think the Uma's going to be out for the majority of BSF.
It's coming out in June.
Yeah, I think there's one. I'm not sure if the first BSF in Europe is the week before or the week after it, but I know it's out for Manchester, which will be the one I'll be going to. So Uma's a consideration. And I think Bang Dream's pretty good into Uma anyway. They both are generically 1k, well I say 1k1. Uma's obviously not a 1k1 deck, it's a stock soul 1k1 deck. But I feel like Uma has a potentially really bad matchup into Oshinoko, because it's a very zero dependent deck because of inheritance. And Bang Dream has a very 50-50 match into Oshinoko. So I suspect what you're going to see is a lot of teams of Oshi, Bang Dream, Uma.
I think that is a pretty salient take. Do you have any final thoughts about Worlds, your performance, or just anything in general?
I didn't know keeping timers on a board was that difficult. That's the main thing. I had to call, I think it was 2 rounds, I called a judge to say, can we have the time back, please? It was like, oh, well, we can tell you there's 8 minutes left, we're just sorting out what's going on. Like, okay, I'm not sure what's going on, but apparently timers were difficult to keep up. Apparently one round they lost it entirely and had to try and get it back. So I'm not sure, I mean, I don't know how time works for different sectors. I know there was a big discussion online before about how NA doesn't do timer displays at all. In Europe, we allow people to have timers on the table, and I don't know what NA does. And I also had a fun discussion with a Singapore guy where they'd never heard of Round Zero. I don't know if NA's heard of that at all. Well, Round Zero essentially is what we do in Europe. We pair everyone, sit everyone down, make sure everyone's up, and then you do a repair. So it's basically a way to count to make sure all the players have turned up. So that's how we do it in Europe.
That's extremely interesting. No, I have never heard of that, but I did learn something new, so that's cool. Dario, thank you. We appreciate your time. Again, congratulations. Very well done. Excellent performance.
Thank you very much. 2 damage away from champion.